I'm gonna knock her out. She has no idea I'm going to make the nuts against her second nuts.
Problem with being a poker couple is sometimes you end up at the same table. Hey, in a nightly turbo when the drinks are flying, why not? But in the KSOP $800 main event, that is where the laughter ends. It just got real. If you missed the last vlog, I won the ladies and some other fun things happened. After the celebrations and a day of relaxing, it was time for main event day. The day started off with a trip down to our favorite corner in the Leblon region in Rio de Janeiro. Blaise actually stayed at a hostel down the road here for a few months, so he knows this corner really well. We'd head down there for some cheap food and cheap fruit juices. So I would just get like blended up passion fruit mango in a fruit juice. It's like $2 and it tastes incredible. And if you got a bit of a hangover, it's absolutely brilliant. So after that, we headed down to the Sheraton Casino, which is where KSOP was being hosted.
Main event day, and guess what? Same table.
Same table. I'd spend half my prize money to get into the main. Let's make it into war.
I'm gonna knock her out. She has no idea I'm going to absolutely steamroll her.
So we end up on the same table. Couldn't believe it, but I also could because we shouldn't have entered on the break. That's when they open up new tables and we got put on the same new table. It was kind of silly of us, but here we are. So we're about 80 bigs deep at this point. There's an open from mid position. Blaise calls on his left and I'm on the button with king queen off. I figure it's a great squeeze spot to try and take this pot down, so I do put in a kind of 5x squeeze here. Then the big blind goes all in for they're about the same size as my 3-bet. First guy folds and Blaise is pretty much priced in to call everything now, so he's going to have like all the pairs, all the suited connectors, loads of this kind of stuff. And we go to a flop of king, king, 5. Okay, so he checks to me, I bet small, c-bet range here. So now there's a bit of a side pot, and I will admit I don't fully understand the workings of these side pots and whether you should bet into them. From what I know is that you should only really go for it if you have strong value and bet into it when there's a dead pot, and then your bluffs should be ones that you think you can beat the other guy who's already all in against at showdown value. But you shouldn't just be betting loads here. So I bet small, I have trips, I have a very strong hand in my range. Obviously I have ace king and pocket kings, but I don't have 5s, so it's very top of my range. Like aces, I can just check there. There's no reason to start building the pot even more. Blaise raises me, 3x, so I'm like, oh god, here we go. The thing is, there's a flush draw on the board, and he can start to raise with some of his pairs that he think he can beat the other guy against, or he might be raising with a flush draw, 10 jack suited, queen jack suited, backdoor flush draw, plus the 3 to a straight. It's probably a good bluff here. I put in the call. The turn is a 10, which means that his bluffs, a lot of them improve. Like I said, if he's got queen jack there, they improve. He barrels again. I put in the call. The river is a blank, like a 3, no flush, and he puts me all in. And I'm like, oh, the only value he has here is pocket 5s. I just sat there thinking, I don't think I can get away from this. I think if I fold this, it's going to look like we're colluding. So maybe I can't fold here. So I think about it. I think he could have the same hand. He could have king, queen suited. He probably doesn't have ace king. He's going to 3-bet that a lot pre-flop. And what else does he have? Pocket 10s, but why would he turn that into a bluff? He's just going to call. And he's probably going to 3-bet it pre-flop. So he pretty much only has pocket 5s here. So I say to him, I turn to him and go, if you got Cincos, you got Cincos. I call. And he has the Cincos. So that was my GG in the main. Here's Blaise trying his best to look sympathetic, but I guess I did get steamrolled. I don't think I can fold because I only have to be wrong a tiny percentage of the time. I went in for bullet 2, it didn't go well. What's up guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a horrendous day of poker. Got off to an okay start, was fairly card dead, but I won the one pot I played. And then a maniac, who's well known around here, sits down on my left. He just goes all in, no matter what. He has 30 bigs, he gets a double. He shows queen 3 offsuit, manages to keep going. So I finally look down at a hand. Cutoff opens. Now I'm on the button. and I don't want to scare him off by 3-betting. I have pocket kings. So I flat, would never flat in any other circumstance. Well, I don't know. He does go all in. First guy goes all in, I go all in, and the first guy just has aces. So yeah, whatever. I actually came third, so it would have been worse if I had the aces. Then I jump into the turbo, lose a 4-way all in where I have ace king against jacks 3s and 10-9.
Come on, 8.
Bem, mas eu ia trincar na tampa. Olha só, se eu não trinco.
And came last again. Then I go back in and lose 8s v6s for half my stack, and then I lose 10-9 suited to ace 8. A bad day at poker. But Blaise is about to bag up in the main. Let's go.
Favorite bag.
Oh, and I got this new hoodie. Pretty sick. So after feeling like we'd played enough poker, we decided that it was time to do some tourist activities and actually see Rio itself. So first of all, we went on this walk around the lagoon, the Lagoa, where they're known to have capybaras. So we were searching high and low for a cappy, and eventually we turned a corner, and there it was, massive fucking thing. And yeah, I was amazed. Are you ready to ride the swan? And then we did something I've always wanted to do. We headed up to the top of the mountain to see Christ the Redeemer. And it was absolutely amazing up there. It felt like you were in heaven above the clouds. It felt very surreal.
What are we trying to do?
I don't know.
I'm trying to get a great view of my mustache. They look cute.
Ring around town.
Oh, we're still here. Oh.
What about?
Move your head. Ah.
They have a couple of restaurants and shops up there, so we wanted to go and get a drink, of course, as the sun set. And I found out that they actually serve fish and chips. So yeah, I didn't try it, but the Brit in me was buzzing.
Don't smile.
Alright, enough of that normal people shit. Back to the poker. There are still trophies to be won. Next up was one I was looking forward to, is the $500 freeze out. So another big one. Okay, this hand was a little bit spicy. So I hadn't 3-bet in this tournament so far, so I thought now is a good time to 3-bet bluff. As is any time. So the cutoff opens. He's been opening quite a lot. I'm on the big blind with ace-5 offsuit with the 5 clubs. It's a good 3-betting hand from the big blind. I think I'm going to get a lot of credit here. I go for it. If we go to the flop, we'll see what happens, you know. And then we went to a flop. So the flop was Queen, Jack, 9, 2 clubs. I have the 5 of clubs. So I think I c-bet here. If he raises anything, I can just get away from it. He calls. The turn is the 3 of clubs. So I now have 4 to a flush, but a bad flush. But anyway, I go Geo about 40%. Geo meaning setting myself up for a river jam. And he does put in the fold. I thought it was fine, you know, if we get to a river and I make the flush, I can hopefully it just goes check, check, and I've got showdown value. And if not, some rivers I could give up on depending on my read on him. Yeah, I don't think I've played ace-5 off in a 3-bet pot before. Exciting times. Okay, so the 3-bet is fine. There's a lot of kind of offsuit aces as well as some middling suited hands, which a lot of people don't think to 3-bet these. You should definitely bring some of these in. Even though it feels really nice to call on the big blind, sometimes you've got to just go for it or else you're not going to be 3-bet bluffing enough from the big blind. On the flop, there is actually a large amount of check, and I don't think I really spotted this in game. I thought it would be more of a c-bet range, but the fact you're out of position means you do check more in general, as well as the fact that if you look at the range advantage, you actually have 50-50 in equity. So your ranges are really close. And if you look at the breakdown, they have the most amount of straights. They have 10-8 suited, king 10 off, and king 10 suited. We only have a little bit of both as bluffs. We have more sets. They have more 2-pair. We don't really bluff 3-bet things like Jack 9. We have more overpairs and top pair, of course, but they also have quite a bit of second pair. Overall, they have the nut advantage just because they have more straights in their range. So actually, there is going to be a lot of checking, and even from hands like Jacks and 9s, and you think, oh, you're always going to bet middle set, bottom set, but not in this situation. The ones that want to bet are the overpairs. They do need a lot of protection as there are bad turn cards like a club or an 8 giving a 4-liner, or even an ace when you got pocket kings. So there you go. I did bet, and it doesn't like it from my combo either. And because I don't bet this combo at all, I can't solve it any further on. So yeah, still interesting looking at the dynamics on the flop here. That guy then became my nemesis. We ended up playing loads of pots together, and I ran into his kings with queens. So he knocked me out, and that was very annoying. A few nights later, Blaise ends up on the final table of the Turbo 500, which is basically a $100 tournament that goes on every night. I played a few of these, and he ends up winning that. So we're like, hell yeah, we got double trophies. And we were having the best time. And then the next night, I end up on the final table of the Turbo 500 again. So going back to the start of this tournament, here is one of my first all-ins.
Oh, with the blinds as well. Ooh!
Come on.
Oh, the straight right off the rip. Oh no!
So for the mums and dads watching, I flopped a straight, and the fact that the queen came down is we both had a straight, so then it was a chop pot. So poker isn't always about bluffing. It can just be about figuring out your opponent and how you're going to get max value against them. So here I open king, queen of diamonds on the cutoff, and the button 3-bets me. I call with 50 bigs effective. The flop is pretty nice, king, queen, 8, like that. It goes check, check. The turn is a jack. Now, do I start betting here? That is the question. Or do I let him start betting here? I ended up checking, which I'm not sure about. I think you can go like either way with this. If you think they're going to hero you off, maybe, but I don't think he was. I think my best chance was to try and get him to start bluffing with something. And then he checks back, so I know he doesn't have ace 10, because he's going to want to go for 2 streets of value. Definitely doesn't have aces, kings, ace 10, anything like that. So what does he have? He might have ace jack, he might have pocket 10s, pocket 9s, but really, he doesn't really have much value at this point anymore. So I'm only going to get 1 straight off him anyway. He checks back. The river was a king, and I don't think I want to check here again, because in my experience, players, when they check through twice, they're committed to showdown now at this point. As in a recreational kind of fun player, they're not going to think, oh, now I'm going to turn it into a bluff, because they're just going to think this bluff's going to get called too easily. I go for a small bet. I bet 1/4, and he does sigh and make the call. The question is, how much could I got out of him? And I don't know. I think a block bet is fine, because I might block bet something like ace queen if I've checked through there, just to try and get extra value, but also my nuts. You've got to have some really, really strong hands in your block betting range. Otherwise, it's very capped. I don't know about this hand though. Let me know in the comments, because would you have just started betting the turn, try and get 2 streets out of him? So pre-flop, king queen suited is a pure call on the solver. On the flop, you're going to check to the aggressor always. They don't have much check in their range. They have such a huge range advantage with 61% equity compared to my 40. So they're mostly going to bet here. Even things like 9s and 10s, they want to bet a lot of the time, but they are going to be the kind of larger checks here. They check back on the turn. You can kind of go with any sizing. They've got like a quarter size, half pot, and also full pot, but there is also still some check. It's a little bit more polar this. They're using some bigger sizings. So they're bringing in some bluffs here. I love it with the pocket 2s, pocket 3s, because you unblock kind of their middling range, like 8s and queens, 9s and 10s. Like you don't want to turn 9-7 into a bluff because you want them to have pocket 9s. So love this with the 2s. Also things like ace 3 suited, ace 5 suited, just trying to get them to fold out kind of a middling pair. So I did check, and they are going to check back. They've got things that want to get to showdown now, like kind of weak kings, but the strongest hands in their range that are still going to check back are pocket kings. The river was a king. Yeah, you can't check at this point because you just need to try and get some value out of them. However, I could have sized up with all of my kings here. that have checked through twice. So half the time it's going to bet 5 bigs into 16. This purple here is 24 bigs into 16 bigs. If I do overbet, they are meant to still call pocket tens, and I don't think there's any world that they would call me with pocket tens here. So with my image as a woman, if I'm not going to get value from overbetting here, I think going for the block bet is absolutely fine. And they did call me. I assume they had something like 9s or 10s, but they didn't show their hand. So fast forward, I got to the final table as a shorty.
Oh yeah.
Managed to get it in ace king suited against queen 6 off, which is still a massive sweat for a double up.
How you feeling?
Fortunately, I did hold and get the
Let's
double up.
go!
So I'm like, oh my god, can I do it? Can I get the 2 trophies? However, I lost again with a hand which is not a premium hand. Someone's shoved like ace 3 into me on the big blind. I had king queen suited, not a premium, because it doesn't win against ace 3. So then there were 5 of us left. I chipped down to about 5 big blinds. I shoved the button, and the big blind, who massively covers me, kind of tank calls with ace jack. I have pocket queens.
Again! Oh, wow. Oh no! 10! GG.
And that was GG in 5th. So it's like, why can't I win the open events? I was so close there. Really, really close. If I'd won those 2 hands, yeah, I'm winning that as well. But that's poker, baby. And that was GG for the series. I mean, overall, I'd pretty much broken even because I'd won the small one and not cashed any of the big ones. And our final day in Brazil before heading back to the UK was spent scooting along the beach. We went all the way from the Blonde Beach down Ipanema to Copacabana and to the end here, and it was absolutely amazing. I got to drink an actual coconut. We would basically just get on and off the scooter, stop at various markets along the way, grab ourselves a passion fruit caipirinha. I also bought myself a capybara to take home. Then we just carry on our way. Here we are on the way home, stopping off for our final caipirinha. And that was the end of the trip.
On the trampoline in the road. Watermelon.
Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.